let's make a pillow for fall. Here's what you need. We're going to use these scraps of fabric. These are fat quarters that I picked up at Joann. I grabbed a couple different colors of orange and some brown. We're going to need a pillow cover. You can find these in the link in the description. We're also going to use Heat and Bond, which is an iron-on adhesive that is going to help the fabric stick to the pillow cover without sewing. We're going to need a scissors and an iron for this portion, and then we're going to use our Cricut as well. So you'll need a cutting mat and a Cricut, and I'm going to use my maker with the rotary blade. The final thing I'm adding is just a little scrap of green iron-on here. If you have green fabric, you can use that as well, but I'm going to make it a little bit different with this piece of green. In Cricut Design Space, I want you to open up this design file. You can find the link to this in the description. We're going to go to Customize just so I can show you what it's made up of if you want to make your own. So what I've done is I went to Images over here and I grabbed a pumpkin I really like, and then I separated out the layers, and I just chose some different colors for each layer. Each color is going to represent one of those different patterns of fabric that I picked out. Then I made sure that the stem was brown and this leaf over here is green. So I'm going to select my machine and we're going to make it. So for each of these, I want to note the size. So I'm going to make sure this is about a 4x4 square. This is about, let's say, 4x7, and so on for all of these different pieces. This little leaf right here, I am cutting out of iron-on, so I am going to make sure to mirror that, and we'll cut that last. So before we move forward with this, I am going to go cut out some fabric. So I can use a rotary cutter or a scissors here. It's interesting, this rotary cutter here is the same way that we're going to cut the fabric using the Cricut, because that is a rotary blade fashioned after a rotary tool. So we don't need this to be exact, so you can use your scissor or you could use this. And then we're going to do the same for the other pieces of fabric. So now that our fabric is cut to size, we're going to use some Heat and Bond. This is just an iron-on adhesive. So it has, let's grab a good piece here. It has a kind of shiny textured piece on one side and paper on the other. And what we're going to do is iron the fabric to the sticky part and just leave the paper on the back. So I want to make sure that my piece of Heat and Bond is just slightly smaller than the piece of fabric. I don't want any of the adhesive hanging over the edge. So then with the paper side up, the adhesive side stuck to the fabric without any hanging over the edge, because I don't want to get it on my mat. I'm going to bring in my Easy Press. You can use an iron too at low to medium temperature. And we're going to leave it just like that. We're going to leave the paper on, but they're together now. So for this next step, I'm going to use my Cricut. From here, if you wanted, you could trace the pumpkin pieces onto here and just cut this out by hand. If you don't have a Cricut or you don't want to use it, that is a great step. So now that the fabric is all prepared, we can start to cut. So I'm going to start with the brown first. So we're going to scroll down to fabric here and look at all the different options that are available. You can cut just about anything. Really, I'm just cutting cotton, but I am cutting bonded cotton because now it has that Heat and Bond on the back. So bonded fabric can absolutely be cut with your fine point blade that comes with your maker. I've done it, it works beautifully. I have the rotary blade for my Maker 3 and I'm going to use it because I like how it cuts. I think it cuts beautifully. If you have the rotary blade, give it a try, but again, you don't need it for this. If you're using a rotary blade, you can pop it into clamp B right here. Just swap it out for your fine point blade. If you ever want to know what blade to use with what material or which project you're looking for, I have an ultimate guide to Cricut blades and tools. You can find a link to it down in the description. It is completely free. Just click on that link and it is yours. Typically when working with fabric, you want to use a really light grip mat or a fabric grip mat. This is an old Cricut mat, so it is not very sticky, so it's working just fine with this. If you were to try this method on a brand new Cricut mat that was very sticky, this would not work. It would stick too much and your backing would rip off. Now that all of our pieces are cut out, we can flip them over and we can peel off the paper backing. This can be discarded. The iron-on adhesive is now on the back of the fabric and we're ready to assemble our pumpkin on a pillowcase. So I've got my easy press mat down and I'm going to put the pillow cover over the top of it. And then I just want to make sure that I find the center of it. And I can start putting my pieces in. I'm going to place a tea towel gently over this and then just iron everything in place. That's all set to go. The final thing I'm going to do is just add this little leaf to the corner. Remember to grab that Cricut Design Space file down in the description so you can make your own. If you like simple crafts, be sure to subscribe. I am here every week with new videos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.